Focus on your goals, not the struggles that may be holding you back. You're listening to episode 79 of the Surging Forward podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Surging Forward broadcast, where we're helping you to have a positive view in a negative world. My name is David Ballantyne, and I'm here to help you see the value in the job you do and how you can keep surging forward. Well, hello again, and welcome to the Surging Forward podcast. This is Dave Ballantyne, your host, and we're back. We did get last week's podcast out, and I just want to give you guys a little bit of update of all the stuff that's been going on. It's been a crazy month now. A lot of stuff going on here, and if this is your first time listening, I want to say thanks for tuning in. I don't know if somebody referred you or if you just came across the site for Surging Forward. Let me explain a little bit about who we are. Surging Forward, we're a place to help create a positive view in a negative world, to keep you surging forward in your career, the trades, wherever you happen to work at. I talk mostly with the trades. I do have an electrical background, so I deal with those who are struggling with the day-to-day work of just working out in the trades. You know, it's not an easy field to work in. A lot of people take for granted tradesmen. And, you know, I like to start a new saying out there. You know, I always like to say, you know, hey, thank the policeman guy. He keeps you safe. And, you know, thank the firefighter, you know, our first responders and all of that. And, hey, they do a great job. Also, too, thanks to our military. My goodness, the military does a fantastic job. We're so great to live in a wonderful country that we're in. And I want to say thanks to the military, me being a vet also myself. It's just unbelievable, the sacrifices that they have to go through. But a lot of times, some of the unsung heroes that get left out are those that are in the trades. You know, the trades are those that keep your electric on. The linemen that are out working on the power poles. They keep the power up and running, and you don't even have a clue what's going on. During the bad weather, they're out there fixing that power line. When your power goes out in your house, and there's a problem, and you call an electrician out there to fix it, the electrician that's a professional at what he's doing, he's going to do a good job and make sure it's right. And that's why you don't want to be real cheap or chintzy on it. You want to make sure you call a professional. It's not something for a handyman. It's not something for, you know, someone to go on YouTube and say, okay, let me fix this out real quick. The trades are a very important skill that, you know, we're actually losing out there in the field. And so that's part of what this podcast is for. You know, you got the HVAC guy out there. I have a couple friends of mine, you know, Mike Jezik. He has his own company out there, My Three Sons, and does a great job out there. And I talked to him. He's one of the fellow instructors there with me. And, you know, during these cold spells we have, you know, we take for granted the heat that we have in our house. And guess what? You know when it goes out? During the coldest time. So you want to make sure that you call somebody that's a professional. And so that's part of what this podcast is for. Oh, and I don't want to forget the plumbers out there and the pipe fitters. Those of you, the guys that keep the water flowing. Because, God forbid, you have a leak inside the wall. That's probably the most stealthy issue that goes on. Of course, when we lose our electrical power, oh, lights don't work. So we know something's not working. Oh, we smell something burning. Yeah, we really know there's an issue. When the heat's not working, it's cold. But a lot of times the plumbing stuff, kind of a crazy deal. That stuff been leaking behind the wall for a long period of time. People don't even realize it and all of a sudden they've got mold issues and problems behind the drywall. You see, construction is not a joke. So many people get caught up with thinking that, construction is something I can learn on YouTube and different things like that. That is not the case. And so I'm here to encourage those of you that work in the trades. Now, if you happen to work in another career that's not necessarily the trades, hey, that's fine too. Because the leadership things we talk about here on this show are something that can help you in your career. Well, this week I want to talk about one of the things I want to kind of focus on is keeping your focus when life just doesn't work out the way you want it to do. You probably noticed last week's podcast, I got it out kind of late, and I was talking about life's hurdles. Not too long before that, back in episode 69, I talked about a podcast that just simply said, deal with it, and trying to hang in there. Well, I just want to kind of share this one from my heart, because if life is going to happen. We're going to have things that happen. This past month for me has just been such a struggle. So instead of going on a particular topic, I just wanted to kind of share my heart and my goals kind of out there with y'all and see where you're at. One of my goals when I started Surging Forward was to go out and try to make a difference and help. And, we're up here. I'm on episode 79 now. So that means we've been doing it for not quite a year and a half. Yeah, maybe close to it. And so that's, it's been coming out every week since August of 2016. So that's pretty cool. No, I'm sorry. It's not August 2016. My God, boy, how time flies. Yeah, it is August of 2016. So a little over a year, but not quite a year and a half yet. But it's something that I started because I get a lot of my students, I see the struggles that we're all going through in the trades. And we're all going through it together. I don't care if you're in Virginia or California, all the way across the West Coast, all the way across the East Coast, all the way through Mid-America, and even as far up as Alaska. I even have people in Canada that are listening to this podcast. And so we all go through the same struggles as tradesmen. A lot of it is we don't get the training that we need to get while we're at a worker's level. Many times some of this training that I have talked about in some of the past episodes, about going in the right direction, continuing to grow, the need to feel important. A lot of these training episodes have actually, most people don't get them until they're on a management level. And I've worked my way up from the ground up. But, as an instructor, I just wanted to level with you guys. Life is not always going to be positive. Whoa. Wow, Dave just crossed the line right there. Because isn't that the purpose of Surging Forward? To create a positive you in a negative world? Well, that's my point, guys and women. A lot of great women out in the field. I always encourage, if you're a woman in the field and if you'd like to be a guest on this podcast, I don't do too many guests on the podcast. I have quite a few people I need to hook up with who we've talked about being a guest on the podcast. But as you'll see, a lot of the reasons I couldn't have a guest on because I've been struggling through for my past 2 months, which is what I'm going to get to. And, life is not always positive. And no matter how positive you are, it's not going to be positive. It's just going to be crap. You're going to have crappy days. I have a saying that friends of mine that know me, and if you know me and you've heard me say it, I'm going to give you the secret. So the next time that you hear me say it, you're going to know the real truth behind the saying. A lot of you guys that know me out here, that have seen me out in the field or seen me, I always have a tendency to say, you know what? God's in control. And those of you that are not religious and stuff like that, hey, that's fine, not a problem. We all have our own different things that help us to keep surging forward. But I always say God's in control. But it's not something that I say all the time, believe it or not, to encourage you. a lot of times that's just to encourage me as I'm going through some of these things. Some of the issues that I'm going through at that particular time. It's just a reminder to me about, okay, I'm really not in control of much anything. Whether you believe in fate or destiny or whatever the case may be, I just happen to believe that God has things and He has a plan. I'm also the type that believes, if you continually to do good things, anything that's bad is going to turn around to good. Well, I got to admit, I struggled for the past 4 or 5 weeks with that. And I don't know, some of you guys have heard me talk about it. My computer went on the fritz. I have a very good computer that my son helped me buy probably about 3 years ago. And it's a heavy-duty gaming computer, 6-core processor, all that craziness, which I don't even know. I mean, the video card is just huge. But what I'm getting at, everything was fine until things beyond my control started happening. What was it? Something that happens every day on computers. Updates. Well, Windows started updating my computer probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and maybe even a little bit longer before I even realized the problem. But it wasn't taking those last few updates. Funny thing is, my wife's computer, and she's been helping me out a lot, hers took it no problem. Now, her computer, believe it or not, is about 10 years old, and I've been keeping that thing going just by playing with the hardware, and, because I can't afford to get a new one. Can't afford this, because I put a lot of money into mine a few years back when I decided to do these podcasts and start doing some of the video and some of the online courses that I've been designing. So I invested a lot of my money into this to get it set up. Well, what was happening, the Windows was going into a loop. Well, those of you that trust in your computers a lot, you kind of know where I'm going with this. Because all of a sudden, Windows decides, I don't know what the deal was, what it is behind the scenes. I don't know how they can take control of your computer. I don't understand all that stuff. But all of a sudden, weird stuff started happening on my computer. It's almost like I had a virus. I couldn't open certain programs. I started getting frustrated. So I actually called through and got a hold of somebody over at Windows and talked to their support. And it wasn't just me. Something weird was with the program. And I found out there's a lot of other people out there with that issue. Matter of fact, if you're having an issue with the new Windows 10 updates, there is hope. And you will survive. Just keep your eyes and keep focused on the outcome, because after all that, and after remoting on my computer and constant, closing down, rebooting, waiting for this to install, watching the little twirly whirly, watching the bars move, and I'm talking, 5-6 weeks of this stuff. Because here's the bad part. I'm away a lot, and I teach and different things like that, so my time getting into my little office here is very precious. Because I spend a lot of time teaching. I work a full-time job. A lot of times, some of you that are local have actually called me to do counseling to help you with your code test, or coaching. I shouldn't say counseling. It's actually coaching, and which is a new field I'm looking to get into. And so people have been taking me up on that challenge. And if you're wondering why I have to charge for it, well, my friends, time is money. I can't just go out and spend an hour one-on-one with you without charging, a bit of money to pay for that knowledge. And so if you're interested in that, I'm actually looking at, now that I got things fixed, I can actually do it on Skype now. I think I got my Skype even working. But so this way I can counsel coach people who want to go take their electrical code update course. Not just their update, they want to get their license, their journeyman, or their master's. Because, there's certain ways of training. You have to keep your eyes focused. And so that's why I was keeping my eyes focused. Even though I was having all these other problems, I still made sure I got the podcast out. I still made sure I had to prep for my courses that I was teaching in classroom setting. I still had to make sure I worked on my current job. I still had to maintain my focus. Even though it seemed like the world was falling up, falling around, falling up, you could tell I'm still very tired. But even though it just seems like the world's falling apart all around me, it was I still had to maintain my focus. I still had to say, okay, my purpose is to help others to keep surging forward. And I'm one of those, when good things are about to happen, I'm one of those that I think a lot of times that negativity comes in because the darkness and that negative attitude and that negative stuff that sometimes is in this world, in the Christianity world, where I believe in Christianity, a lot of times we like to call it sin. And so, whatever the case you may say it is, when that comes into play, it almost gets mad that you're doing good things. Well, my friends, there's some great things going to happen because I have been under such attack for the past 5 to 6 weeks. It's been unbelievable. And I want to thank my wonderful wife out there. She's really stood by me. And her and I both have gone through this together. Of course, if you're married, that's what happens. So those of you that are married out there, it's not just your struggles. It's also your spouse's struggles. And, you take that on. If you try to take it on by yourself, it's not worth it. We're all going to go through struggles. But you don't want to lose the focus. What are your goals? What is it that you're working for? Why are you in the trades working in that hot area where it's 100 degrees outside? Or it's freezing cold outside, below zero, and you're working outside? Or you're just involved in this problem you can't figure out how to troubleshoot? Or are you one of those guys or women who are just kind of barely making it by? You're just winging it. You really don't care. Maybe you're using and abusing other people, and you're just kind of rolling along with the flow. My friends, if you're doing that, you have no direction. But if you're doing the other part, what I was saying, where you're trying to make a difference, you're going to run into hurdles. And life is going to be a challenge. So how do you change that? Will you make a life-changing difference? Some of the things that helped me out was just listening to other podcasts. I would just, while I'm driving to work, I tone out the news and just listen to other podcasts. Part of it, I would just share. I would talk the thing with my wife. I mean, I got to admit, there was a couple times I just said the heck with it. I just vegged out and I just watched the Olympics. And, I didn't even care what I was watching. I just kind of chilled out and watched it for a minute. Took a break from working the stressful hours that I'm working all the time. And I do keep a long schedule. A lot of my friends will ask me, how do you get all that stuff done that you do in a day? Well, my attitude is, well, I don't think I got enough done. I keep running out of time. I'm not getting done what I want to get done. Well, sometimes you say that saying, the Lord's in control. Sometimes there's a way of making us to relax every so often. You've got to keep your focus. And keeping your focus does not mean always being busy. Always taking care of the issues. There are issues that we can't solve. Just like with this issue with my computer. I went round and round. I searched online. I had Microsoft's people remoting in almost every other day. They would remote in. They couldn't find. And they would say, "Oh, this time it's fixed." Boom. They do all the stuff. I go back on it 2 days from now, and all of a sudden it's doing the same thing. It ain't working. Oh, you want to talk about the frustration? Now I got to go through the whole thing. Call them again. Well, lo and behold, Microsoft did finally get it fixed on my computer. And I'm going to tell you about keeping the focus. Now, a couple other great things happened too. I also was very much blessed, and I really don't know how to explain it, but all of a sudden I got blessed with some other equipment, some other hardware came into my life, and I actually got a better system that I'm trying to set up, and so I'll be able to turn the other computer over, and hopefully it'll help my wife be able to get caught up. So now I've got 2 great computers running, and so that's good, and maybe I can get rid of that 10-year-old computer that I'm working on, but and that I'm keeping up and running. So the good things have happened because I was able to persevere and keep my focus. Now, friends, my focus is not the same as your focus. You need to ask yourself a question. What is your focus? What are your goals? Do you want to be the best electrician out there? Do you want to be the best HVAC guy out there? Maybe the best plumber? maybe the best carpenter, maybe the best project manager. Maybe that's what you want to be. My goodness, if you're a foreman or a project manager or a superintendent, I want to tell you, I think every foreman needs to go back and listen to every single podcast that I've put out since episode 1. We've got 78 podcasts out there. This is 78 episodes of different things about how to gain knowledge, how to deal with people, how to just handle things going on, how to set your goals, how to grow, all kinds of things that, that are priceless. And it's free. So why are you not taking advantage of all that information? So, and there's also stuff that's just charged for, and yes, you're going to have to pay for some training. But the training, my friends, is out there available to you. So what is your focus? What are the goals in life that you want to do? And don't let the negativity of this world just swallow you up to a point where it's just you just want to quit. Now, my friends, I've gotten there before. I get to that point. I've been there a couple times in my life. And, this wasn't the worst situation. But the only reason I was able to make it through this situation, I'm going to tell you what, if I would not have lost my business and lost everything I had, everything, and came real close to even losing my own marriage, which is very valuable to me, back in 2007, if I would not have gone through all of that hardship, this little thing with the computer, I would have just said, the heck with it. I would have quit doing this podcast. Now you guys say, wow, that's kind of strange. Well, no, because what I went through in 2007 with all the tough things that happened of losing, which I've talked about in some of the past podcasts, I've talked about them somewhere there, those struggles make you stronger. There's a reason for those struggles. Because all things work together for those who follow the Lord. And my friends, those of you that don't follow the Lord, hey, it doesn't mean things aren't going to work together for you either. But you gotta look at the positive part of it. And I'm just being real. I'm just following out because things do work together and they get better. And I am proof. Anybody that is struggling and going through stuff, hey, I can be your venting board. I don't know, drop me an email. I know I'm probably opening up a whole can of worms there because everybody goes through struggles. I don't have the answers for your life, my friend. But the one thing I can tell you is maintain your focus. What are your goals? Think about where you want to be. I shared some of my goals with you. My goals is to help others succeed. Because for me, I've just got that servant type leadership. I love seeing people succeed. And I will do whatever I can to help you succeed. My students come back to me later on and they go, wow, I appreciate what you did. To me, that's almost all, that just makes me feel better than anything else. And I've got a lot of my apprentices have gone out and succeeded a whole lot better than I ever have. They're running their own business. They're doing great jobs. That's fantastic. What are you doing? Are you just sitting back wasting time, drinking a beer every night? Everything's beer 30. Man, there's a lot more than beer 30. Because the friends you're hanging around who have the negative attitude, they're going to always win out. Because they're a lot louder. Because that positive voice in us sometimes is very weak. And we don't hear it all the time. Maintain your focus. What are your dreams? Reignite those dreams in you, my friends. What are the dreams that you have? You want to be the best HVAC tech out there? You want to be the guy that goes out and makes a difference, and man, he goes out there and he's able to fix things quick. And guess what? Before you know it, people are willing to pay you 30, 40, 50 bucks an hour for that skill. Where'd you get that skill? Did it just pop in your head? No. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into acquiring that skill. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, carpenter, HVAC tech, whatever the case may be in the trade, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went in that skill. Don't let anybody tell you that, oh, you're just a tradesman. Because you are a professional at what you do. And that's what it is about, my friends. Creating a positive view and a negative world. Because this world is always going to have things coming against you to try to keep you from reaching your goals, to take you off the path of being focused, and to keep you from surging forward. So hey, I want to wrap this up, my friends. This is actually kind of one. I'm getting back in the swing of things myself. And again, I want to thank you for taking your time out of your busy day to listen to this. And if you haven't visited our website recently, check out the www.surgingforward.com. The website is in the show notes. And on Facebook, check us out on Facebook. And, I think you'll appreciate it there. And like I say, like us on Facebook, the Surging Forward page. And hey, if you want to friend me out there, any tradesman out there, and I'm putting this out there, any tradesman that sees my name on Facebook, just shoot me a friend request. Hey, I put a lot of things out there. Most of my Facebook page is strictly for helping you to succeed in the trade. And I'm always looking for, some other things. There might be things that I'm not sure is out there that you might be struggling with. Let me know what they are. And also on LinkedIn. I want to thank all my friends and contacts that I have out there at LinkedIn. If you're listening to this podcast and you're a LinkedIn contact, fantastic. You keep surging forward. And feel free to shoot me a message anytime on LinkedIn. And whatever I can do to help, I will do the best I can, or I'll try to guide you in the right direction. So, that's the whole purpose. We're all helping one another. I might need your help one day. Maybe I might need a job. I might have to get me a job one day. Who knows? I might have to, figure out a way to make $1. Maybe you guys have a better way for me to do something. That's what it's about as we keep surging forward. Pass this along to somebody you know, my friends, and just show them this podcast. Show them how to use a podcast. It's amazing how many people I find out there who don't even know what a podcast is. But with that said, stay safe, my friends, and keep surging forward. God bless. Talk to you later. Have a great one. Bye-bye.